There was another article today circulating through Twitter that talked about the importance of personal trainers and individual skills coaches to professional athletes and how these coaches are changing the game in which these players perform and play. And I always take a little bit of umbrage at these types of articles, despite the fact that I have worked as an individual trainer or a skills coach previously, because I think these articles diminish the importance of high school coaches and youth coaches. And I think we live in an age of the cult of the personal trainer or the cult of the skills trainer, and these trainers can almost do whatever they want without any criticism, whereas the coaches who actually have to win games, or who are seen as responsible for sending players to the next level, open themselves up to criticism. And so, in my experience, if a trainer does a series of workouts with players, and in each individual workout the player looks as though he or she is improving, because these workouts typically are working on a single skill or are using a lot of unopposed block practice, so there is less room for mistakes, because there's not defense, and because you repeat the same thing over and over again, so you get the rhythm and the timing, and you kind of get in a groove with the skill, and so then you're more successful performing it. And then if that same improvement that is easy to see in these sterile workout environments does not transfer to a game environment, rather than criticize the trainer or criticize or critique the practice, we blame the high school coach or the youth coach or even the college coach for not using the player correctly, or for undermining the player, or not giving the player enough confidence, or whatever the case may be. And those criticisms may be valid, they may be not. But I think the automatic reaction is to look at the high school coach where the player is underperforming, as opposed to critiquing the training or the workouts with the individual skills coach and asking whether or not that practice really prepares the player for game performance, or whether it's simply enhancing practice performance to make the training look good and look valid and make the trainer look better, regardless of what it does for the player as he or she goes on and plays for a team. And so I think this is a dangerous age to live in, because we've now isolated and separated all the skills away from the actual game in which they take place. We're promoting players, practicing against cones, and if they're really good against cone, we assume that they should be really good against a live defensive player. And when that doesn't happen, then we blame the high school coach for some reason. And so I think this is dangerous, and I think it's setting us up for failure, because we don't look critically at the practice, and because we kind of look at these skills trainers, kind of as gurus that are leading the best players, and that's why the best players are the best players, instead of really examining the efficacy of their practice and whether it really does have the transfer to game performance that we like to believe that it does, because we can see the immediate improvement. But just because somebody improves in the immediate environment does not mean that's going to transfer to a game environment or a different environment. And ultimately, the value of one's training, whether with a team coach or with an individual coach, should be evaluated by its transfer to game performance.